The wedding reception was in full swing when Thomas Caldwell rose to tap his glass.
If I could have everyone's attention, just a small family update.
A small update. What now?
I am revising my will, effective immediately. Everything goes to William. Jessica gets nothing.
The room turned to stone, forks stopped midair, smiles froze, and the clinking of glasses died. A woman at the back covered her mouth. A man dropped his fork onto his plate.
Keep your face still. Don't give him what he wants.
We're okay. We'll get through this.
In the back of the room, the notary Thomas had hired stood perfectly still. He watched a manila folder tucked under his arm. The room stayed frozen. Thomas lowered himself back into his chair and smiled, as if he had already won. The silence shattered into 100 whispered questions. Heads turned, and the air thickened with judgment.
Well deserved, I'd say. Finally, the old man sees who's really loyal.
Thomas and William exchanged a glance of private victory, ignoring the shocked faces around them.
Don't let them see you break. You've endured 20 years of this.
We can leave right now. No explanation needed. Just say the word.
An older guest stared at the head table, mouthing the words, "Is he serious?" The fairy lights overhead suddenly felt garish. In the back corner, Mr. Christopher had not moved. His grip on the manila folder tightened imperceptibly, but his face remained unreadable. William clapped a cousin on the back, laughing as if the room hadn't just tilted off its axis.
Smile. Make it small. Make it cold. Let them see you are not the one who's lost.
Even the staff stood motionless, trays frozen in midair. The reception had become a stage for deliberate cruelty. The reception wilted early. Guests shuffled toward the exits, their conversations clipped and uncomfortable. Near the coat check, Mr. Christopher appeared at Jessica's elbow without a sound, the manila folder still pressed against his side.
Mrs. Reeves, I apologize for the terrible timing, but you need to see this tonight.
This man works for my father. Why is he helping me? And why tonight of all nights?
He extended the folder, his grip steady and certain, his eyes holding hers.
Take it. It's not the document he wanted me to notarize. Your grandfather, Frank, built something your father could never touch.
He pressed a business card into her palm, his fingers lingering for just a second.
Call me after you've read it. I'll explain everything.
Outside, the car door shut with a final click. Jessica stared at the folder in her lap, the evening's public cruelty now tangled with a fragile, private hope. At the kitchen table, still in her wedding dress, Jessica broke the seal on the manila folder.
Whatever this is, it's the only shield I have left tonight.
Inside lay a thick legal document, its first page stamped Irrevocable Trust Agreement. A handwritten note was clipped to the corner in precise, deliberate script. Jessica, your grandfather Frank's trust is irrevocable. Thomas can't alter it. You and William split everything 50-50. He's lied for 2 decades. Christopher. Jessica crossed to the side table and lifted the framed photograph of her grandfather.
He built this to protect me. Thomas spent 20 years pretending it didn't exist.
That means the will announcement tonight was pure theater.
Theater. He's been rehearsing for decades. I'm calling Christopher at 8 o'clock.
She traced the embossed letters on Christopher's card, her resolve hardening like cooling steel. At 8 sharp, Jessica pressed the phone to her ear, the business card still creased from her grip overnight. Mr. Christopher's voice came through, calm and immediate.
I've been waiting for this call, Mrs. Reeves. Did you read the document?
Every word. Tell me why my father pretended this trust didn't exist for my entire life.
Because he's only the trustee, not the owner. Your grandfather, Frank, made certain Thomas could never touch the principal.
Beneficiary designation. Jessica Reeves, 50%. William Caldwell, 50%. Irrevocable.
He stood at my wedding and acted as if he could erase me. He knew it was impossible.
He'll fight it. He'll claim ignorance, but the law is clear. You need to act before he does more damage.
Jessica's hand tightened on the phone. The truth was a weapon, but only if she used it.
What do I need to do?
Contact a trust attorney today. You'll need to file for removal of trustee. Your father broke his fiduciary duty just by lying.
The call disconnected. Jessica sat motionless, the screen's glow fading with Christopher's voice. In the living room, Andrew looked up, his jacket discarded, his concern a quiet shield.
Tell me we have a way through this.
Grandfather Frank locked the trust down. Thomas is only the trustee. I need a lawyer to remove him.
Then we call the best one in the state. You are not facing this alone.
She pulled out her laptop, and they started. By noon, they had a name and a consultation.
We'll be there, whatever it takes.
This isn't revenge. It's reclaiming what my grandfather protected.
That afternoon, Jessica felt something she hadn't in years. The floor beneath her, steady and unyielding. The consultation was swift and decisive. The attorney reviewed the trust and didn't hesitate. She pointed to the irrevocable language and the beneficiary designations. Thomas Caldwell had a legal duty to protect both beneficiaries. Instead, he lied.
What does filing for removal actually do?
The attorney's finger rested on the fiduciary clause. Prove breach. He's out. Jessica's hand was steady as she signed the petition. The case was officially filed. 3 days later, a courier delivered a thick envelope to William Caldwell's home. He tore it open. His eyes scanned the legal language, his breath shortening.
She's trying to cut me out? Dad said the trust was his to control.
The floor beneath William tilted. For the first time, he wondered what else his father had lied about. William drove to his father's house, the legal petition still crumpled in his fist.
Open the door. We need to talk about this trust.
Thomas cracked the door, his expression shifting from surprise to tight-lipped defense.
That document is a lie. Your sister is trying to poison you against me.
William shoved the papers forward, his finger stabbing at the beneficiary clause.
50% me, 50% her. You said it was yours alone.
Thomas's mouth opened, but no defense came. The lie that had lasted 20 years cracked in the silence.
Everything he told me was a performance. The will, the loyalty, just another game. I stood there and clapped for you. I thought I was the only one.
He walked out, the document in hand. His thumb hovered over Jessica's contact, but he wasn't ready to press. That night, Thomas called Jessica 14 times, his voicemails swinging from fury to desperate bargaining.
Do you understand what you've done? You are tearing this family apart.
The next voicemail, left 10 minutes later, softened to a plea.
Jessica, please, we can fix this. Just drop the case for the family.
The same manipulation he's used my whole life. This time, it won't work.
By the following afternoon, her missed call log read, Dad, 12. The screen glowed like an accusation.
No more listening to his voice. Decline every time.
She pressed the red button. Each rejection sent him straight to voicemail, and the silence that followed was heavier than the ringing. Miles away, Thomas slammed the phone onto the armrest, his face red and tight.
I won't let him wear me down. Not this time.
Over the following weeks, Mr. Christopher worked like a quiet guardian, pulling records Thomas never thought would surface. He sent bank statements, trust histories, and a decade of financial reports, evidence of deliberate mismanagement. Her laptop pinged with an email from the court. Hearing scheduled for December 21st.
3 weeks, until I sit across from him and demand what's mine.
She spent every evening reviewing the trust line by line, Andrew's steady presence beside her.
You've come far. He can't bully his way out of this.
The trust office where the hearing would take place stood stark in the winter light. The day before, she met Christopher at the firm. His calm was absolute.
He'll rage and he'll lie, but the trust is a fortress. Stand firm, and you will win.
She closed the laptop, the weight of the folder a comforting certainty now. She was ready. The morning before the hearing, Jessica's lawyer summoned her with an urgent new file: trust account disbursements. Luxury car lease, country club dues, personal vacations, all paid from the irrevocable trust for over 10 years.
He wasn't just lying to me, he was stealing from the trust grandfather built.
This isn't just a breach, it's embezzlement. The judge won't overlook this.
The lawyer pushed a single page forward, a summary of personal expenses. The evidence was irrefutable. That afternoon, a messenger delivered a copy of the embezzlement evidence to William Caldwell.
He didn't just tell me I was the favorite, he stole to prove it.
His father had used trust funds as a personal slush fund for years, and William had clapped for him at the wedding. He stared at the ceiling for a long time before he moved again. The hearing was no longer about a will, it was about a decade of theft. For the first time, William felt the shame of his own applause pressing against his chest. That evening, William stared at his phone. His thumb hovered over Jessica's name until he finally pressed call. Across town, Jessica's screen lit up with William's name. She almost declined, then answered on the fourth ring.
Jessica, I've been a fool. I read everything. The trust, the stolen funds. I am sorry.
You clapped at my wedding, William. You stood beside him. Why should I trust you now?
Because I know the truth now. He's been stealing from both of us for a decade. I want to help you remove him.
The words hung in the silence. Jessica shut her eyes, measuring the weight of an alliance she never expected.
If you are serious, you'll testify at the hearing. You'll tell them everything. Can you do that?
I'll be there. I promise. He doesn't get to destroy us both and walk away clean.
The line fell quiet. Then Jessica exhaled. For the first time in years, her brother was on her side. She set the phone down. The path ahead still led through the hearing, but she no longer walked it alone. Thomas Caldwell woke to a single message from his son. I am testifying at the removal hearing. You lied to us both.
He's turning my own son against me.
He called William 4 times. Each ring went straight to voicemail.
William, we can still fix this. Don't let her pour lies into your head.
William never called back. Later that morning, Jessica's lawyer forwarded the court's formal order. The hearing was set for December 25th.
Christmas Day, right when he'll feel the absence most.
She closed the email. Andrew touched her shoulder, saying nothing. Everything already said. Miles away, Thomas stared at a wall of old photographs. The voices that once echoed his now had nothing left to say. On Jessica's kitchen calendar, December 25th was circled in red. The final act was coming. A process server arrived at Thomas Caldwell's door with a thick, stamped envelope. He tore it open and read the official notice of the trustee removal hearing. December 25th, 9 a.m.
She's actually doing this. On Christmas.
In her attorney's office, Jessica signed the final affidavit. The law was no longer a shield, it was a blade. Mr. Christopher filed the notarized motion with the court that afternoon. The case number was now active.
There's no turning back now. Good.
Whatever happens at that meeting, we're already free. You know that, right?
Across town, Thomas called his own lawyer, voice shaking with rage. There were no more maneuvers left. He slammed the phone down so hard the receiver cracked. The sound echoed through the empty house. On Jessica's laptop, a single email confirmed the hearing. The final clock had started. The calls came in waves, every few hours. Then every hour, each one a fresh assault on her nerves.
You think you can just throw me out of my own family? You'll regret this.
Jessica let it ring. The sound scraped across the silence of the kitchen like a blade.
Please, Jess. I am begging you. We can still be a family.
She pressed delete before the message finished. Her finger trembled.
Every time I hear his voice, I feel 12 years old again.
You don't have to listen to him. There are ways to block him completely.
But blocking meant acknowledging he still had power over her. She wasn't ready for that.
I need to decide. Either I keep enduring this, or I cut the cord for good.
The phone buzzed again. She stared at it, her thumb hovering just above the forward button. The next voicemail arrived without a ring, only a notification, a silent red badge.
You'll lose everything, just like your mother did, alone and bitter.
That's it. The last threat he'll ever level directly at me.
She opened the call settings and tapped the forward option with deliberate precision. Where the screen asked for a number, she entered Christopher's office line. No hesitation. Confirm forward all calls from this contact. She pressed yes, and the screen dimmed. In his office, Mr. Christopher's desk phone flickered with an unknown diverted call. He noted the number and let it pass.
It's done. He can scream into a void now.
You just reclaimed every minute of your life. I am proud of you.
The phone lay silent on the counter. For the first time in weeks, the quiet felt like peace. The calendar on the kitchen wall showed December 24th, Christmas Eve. In the living room, the Christmas tree lights flickered, casting soft colors onto the folders spread across the coffee table.
Tomorrow morning, it all ends. One way or another.
And we'll be right there with you. William already confirmed he's coming.
They drove to the trust office for one last review. The winter streets bare and quiet. In the conference room, a single poinsettia sat beside the documents, a quiet clash of holiday and legal warfare.
Everything is in order. The evidence is irrefutable. He cannot talk his way out of this.
All these years, and it comes down to a single morning.
That night, the house was silent. The Christmas lights stayed on, a small defiance against the dark. At 9 the next morning, the trust's future would be decided. She was ready. Jessica was already seated at the head of the conference table, her posture deliberate and calm, the trust folder open before her. Thomas entered, his face lined with defiance, but his step slower than usual. William followed, avoiding his father's gaze and taking a seat along the side, his hands clasped tightly.
This trust meeting is now called to order. I'll serve as temporary chair.
Mr. Christopher opened a leather folder and began placing the exhibits one by one on the polished wood.
The first document is the original irrevocable trust, signed by Franklin Caldwell in 1998.
Thomas's jaw tightened. He started to rise, but the words caught in his throat.
You'll have your chance to speak, but the evidence comes first.
William stared at the stack of financial records, his mouth pressed into a thin line. The room held its breath. The church bells outside began to toll the hour. Mr. Christopher summarized a decade of theft, then turned to William for his statement.
I was lied to as well. My father stole from us both. I support removing him as trustee.
The motion is to remove Thomas Caldwell as trustee. All in favor?
William's hand rose first. Then, after a pause, Thomas's own lawyer nodded.
The motion carries. Thomas Caldwell is removed as trustee, effective immediately.
Christopher passed a document across the table, the trustee acceptance form.
My grandfather's trust is finally in safe hands.
She signed. The notary's stamp came down with a final, irreversible click. Thomas shoved his chair back. The sound cut through the silence like a broken promise. He didn't look at anyone. The door closed behind him, and the empty chair stayed pushed back. The meeting concluded in a quiet shuffle of papers and formal handshakes.
Your grandfather, Frank, drafted this trust for this very moment. He trusted you to finish what he started.
And now it's finally protected from the one person it was meant to outlast.
Andrew opened his arms as she crossed the room. She fell into him, the last of her tension dissolving in his embrace.
You are the strongest person I know.
We're the strongest team I know.
They stepped outside, the crisp Christmas air filling their lungs. Snowflakes landed on her coat like tiny, cold benedictions. Jessica's reflection in the building's glass caught her eye. She was still smiling. The burden she had carried since her wedding day had vanished, replaced by a quiet, steady certainty. The kitchen was quiet, lit only by the small lamp above the table. Jessica traced the edge of her grandfather's photograph.
He protected us both before I even knew I needed protecting.
Frank Caldwell's eyes looked back at her from the frame, steady and kind, as if he had always known this day would come. Andrew set a mug of tea beside her and sat down without a word, his presence a quiet answer to everything.
I never got to thank him, but I think he knew.
She carried the photo to the window, the winter evening painting the glass in shades of blue and silver.
The trust is safe. The lies are buried. I am free.
On the side table, the candles burned low, their light catching the silver frame one last time before the evening settled. Jessica turned from the window, and for the first time in years, her smile was soft, unforced, and entirely her own. The future was finally hers to write, and she had all the time in the world. The next morning, pale winter light streamed through the window as her phone buzzed on the sill. "Thank you, Jessica, for everything. I mean it." She read the words twice, her thumb resting on the screen.
Some bridges can't be rebuilt overnight, but at least the wreckage is cleared.
She set the phone down without replying, and the silence that followed felt different, lighter. At the window, the winter sky was a pale ribbon of blue above the rooftops.
He's out of my life as a threat. He's out of the trust. What comes next is mine to shape.
A small, private smile touched her lips, not for anyone else, just for herself. She stood there as the sun climbed higher, watching the light stretch across the street, and for the first time, the world outside the glass didn't feel like something to survive. It felt like something to begin.